No, we're good. It's on, baby. Hey, it's on. Listen, you are listening to the Sports Show, episode 297.
Just take it away from him. Under 4 left. The barn is alive again.
Yeah, Sports Show. Got me in my hormones, all gas, no brakes, score 4-0. If you think you own this place, you get foreclosed. I've been in my head, but it's not about
I don't get excited much anymore because I see Mitch week to week. I mean, I get half excited, but I don't get really excited. But this time I get super excited because, ladies and gentlemen, I can give you the handles, I can give you the goods, but there's more important things at stake here. Right. We are graced with the presence of the Swiss Greek himself.
In studio.
Larry 49 Alpha Apostolides. The Swiss Greek. Welcome to the Sports Show.
Thank you, boys. It's great to be here.
We are. When you text this week, you're like, hey, guys, would you mind if I come on? I won't lie to you. I thought at first it was a joke. I was like, what's he trying to say? Is he getting a hard time?
I got nervous, Mitch.
I loved it. I was
moved,
like,
Jerry.
No, this is good.
If you're listening to the Sports Show, we're going to get to the goods here. Episode 297. At Sports Show Podcast is on Instagram. At Sports Show Podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel. Blue and white logo. Podbean, Spotify. Screw you, iTunes. We'll get to you at some point. It doesn't matter at this stage of the game. CJSW 90.9 FM. We're here to talk sports and do a couple things. But why are we really happy that the Swiss Greek is on? Because, you know, we always wonder, like, who's listening? Who's out there? Who supports us? I mean, we know, but do we know?
Yeah.
But I think you've taken the number one spot as super fan of the Sports Show. We're sitting at dinner, and he's perusing the nets.
I like to peruse.
Hey, who doesn't?
Mitch.
Hey, it's a thing. It's we started a trend, and I'm happy to see people are doing what we do best. Listen, for a lot that don't know, you got the South Carolina George, good friend of the program, been listening since day one.
Yeah.
You got the big data, six time. That he's been in studio. And you know what? I'm working on something. And now Larry is going to start making a couple of entrances. You got the Captain Morfesses has come on. The Johnny Hockey's been. So we got a contingent.
Agent Ange behind the scenes.
That's true.
Wheeling and dealing.
We got things going on. But Larry let's talk about Larry for a quick second. Larry, huge Laker fan.
Massive.
Huge Mets fan.
Big.
And maybe the biggest and greatest 49ers fan of all time.
Right below my brother.
Right below. Is your brother more than you? I guess that's the big question that everyone...
He's the go to 49ers fans in the town. Absolutely. Without him, I would not be a 49ers fan.
Right. But as it stands right now, if you did a 49ers Calgary fan power ranking, who
Still
wins?
give it to Gus. You got
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
he is all in just like I am.
I agree.
That's amazing. You guys are like the Kelsey brothers, a 49ers fan in Calgary.
You guys should start your own pod.
Yeah, the Apostolides brothers.
Oh, that's a good idea. Let me talk to him.
Hey,
I'll get back to you.
We can get you a studio time. We can get you a studio time.
I'll bring him in.
The Platiron Gang.
I'm scared. You know, one day, and we talked about it before, bringing your brother in and PH, the Pete Kassabs.
Oh, boy.
That could just be its own world.
Is the purple team allowed in here?
No, that is exactly why they haven't been invited.
That's the problem.
That's the problem.
It's the purple team. It's the purple team. We don't need to get into this year's Super Bowl, but yeah, you're a huge fan. You're a season ticket holder.
Yep.
And not just a season ticket holder that lives here and says, hey, I got him. A season ticket holder that lives here and goes to the game.
At least twice a year.
Unbelievable. It's unreal.
You know what? Let's talk right before I get to the, what I'd start with. But let's talk a little bit about the 49ers. We'll talk a little NFL in a minute. What happened?
Shanahan just choked again.
You think so, eh?
I think so. He didn't call the best game, and you can tell that. And they were playing chess basically throughout the game, both Reed and Shanahan. And the players were playing their heart outs. But when you get a freak injury on Greenlaw, when you get Debo getting injured again, and you get those weird calls, and you don't punch it in, again, as you always talk, you got to have that killer instinct. Shanahan just doesn't have that killer instinct just yet. Yeah. He's almost there, and he almost did it.
Do you think he'll ever get? Do you actually think it's in him? Because some guys just don't have it, Laris.
He had it, and then at the last drive there in OT, he should have just punched it in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he pulled up.
He pulled up.
He totally pulled up. I agree with that. And that's what we were saying. Like, you're not going to out-coach a Reed. And, like, it was the Sammy one. I'm surprised he even came back. Mm-hmm. I'm actually surprised he was even back in the game and effective.
Fast. He came back fast. So,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So,
okay,
anyhow.
I got a question for you real quick. So let's stay on this for a quick second. The Brock Purdy, he's your guy kind of going forward. Or is he, as we're going into now the NFL kind of free agent market where Kirk Cousins is kind of his name's allude. But then Atlanta's been talking about, we'll talk about it a little later. But my question more is this, Larry. You got McCaffrey. He's a superstar freak. The one thing I felt like you guys still are missing is a superstar, like receiver or something like that. That's the only thing. Your defense, everyone's defense is, to me, not mediocre. It's mediocre above average. There's no Baltimore Ravens defense anymore. That's gone. That'll never happen again. But on offense, I feel like you guys are missing that one thing. What would you do? You had one try. John Lynch calls you. He goes, "Hey, boys, I need your ideas. Tell me, who do I go after?" What do you do?
I think you're right in terms of it's not superstar, but when you have a team with a bunch of stars, they may not need to be superstars, but when you got the Deebo Samuel, the Brandon Ayuk, you got the George Kittle, you got the CMC, you run with it, and you keep going with that. And Brock Purdy, you may call him a game manager, but he does manage the game in a way where he can be in a place to win.
Right.
And I think that's the key, right? So Lynch calls me and go, "Lynch, you keep it the same. You play Brandon Ayuk. You keep the team the way it is. You line up the defensive ends a bit, and you're good to go. You don't need to change anything." What has KC done?
Right.
KC, 6 years,
That's a great
4
point.
Super Bowls.
That's a good point, yeah.
Right? Do they have superstars? Patrick Mahomes.
But his star is so much bigger, right? Like he is
The only thing that San Fran was missing
yeah.
for what they're expecting of that guy is Kittle.
Kittle had 4 yards.
Yeah.
Right? And if they had a tight end that you don't even need to be Kelsey-esque. If you just had a solid Antonio Gates tight end out of him, a different game.
If he shows up in the playoffs, absolutely.
Yeah.
Different game.
100%.
Just give them the ball. And that's the thing. Sometimes there's just not enough time to give every star the ball. And I think that comes down to with any NFL team. If you have too many stars, you can't feed them all the ball. Something's going to go
Like
down.
I would deal Kittle at high value for someone of an equivalent that can block as well.
It's the blocking that's key.
Right.
Absolutely. With that type of team.
He doesn't do enough blocking. That's the only part that's missed. Every other scheme is genius. You're right. I keep it the same too, Larry. I wouldn't go. They got the McCaffrey. I was like,
Yeah. No, he's super
All right.
He is.
I remember when
superstar.
that happened. I text my brother, like, you're not going to believe this. Is this true? Started shaking. How did we get CMC? For what?
I think
they gave it a C- rating on ESPN.
Really?
Come on, man.
you got Larried. Amazing.
All right,
Amazing.
it's time. Let's get into it. That was, you know what? That was just a refresher. We haven't got into it. You know why? Because you know me. I like to peruse the nets. And this week I'm going through. And Larry, let me ask you a question. Do you know when the world's going to end?
I do not.
I do.
No.
Because the apocalypse, my friends, is amongst us. Okay. Bottom line is this: on May 20 or July 20th, it's over. Jake Paul has announced that he's going to take on Iron Mike Tyson on Netflix, of all things. It's over. Look, I like the Jake Paul. I like what Logan Paul with the wrestling and all that stuff, and he's boxing. Jake Paul just this last week, he had another match. No one really knew about it. By the way, boxing, your marketing sucks. You guys got to really do a little bit better of a job. Knocks out some guy that no one knows. I really don't know if he had a boxing background.
He did.
He did? Okay.
Yeah.
Knocks him out, whatever, after the first round, couple of minutes into it, wins. But now he's up against Iron Mike Tyson. This is kind of like Logan Paul Mayweather, right? This is going to be Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. I joke around it being the end of the world, but truthfully, man, this is kind of getting out of hand a little bit. Don't you think, Larry? I'm going to start with you. You're the guest. Laris, is this getting out of hand, or do you like this whole Jake Paul celebrity fighting, the promotion of it all?
Listen, he's doing the right thing. He's just basically saying, show me the money.
Yeah.
And wherever the money is, he's going to go. He can fight. He's a great fighter. But can he challenge anyone with a high caliber boxing? I don't know. So he has to go to these money matches, that being Mike Tyson. It just brought me back, seeing the story, brought me back to saying, let's play some Punch-Out, right? And let me go to get that final code to get to Mike Tyson. That's essentially what he's done. He passed all the other guys. Let's go straight to Mike Tyson.
007-373-5963.
That's
it is.
amazing.
That's
Look
the
it
one.
up.
That's amazing.
Look it up.
I believe you. That's crazy that you just can say that right off the bat. I know you're going to love this. You love this, don't you? Just admit it. You're loving this, aren't you?
Every single part of it. Mitch, to Larry's point,
Right.
he's not doing anything that's in the boxing lane. He's doing it in his own lane, and he's not pretending to be anywhere near. He's not going through the WBC. He's not going through the IBO. He's not going through the different organizations. He's a celebrity boxer who is handpicking fights from a celebrity standpoint and getting paid for it. He never professed to be going through the gamut and join Top Rank or Premier Boxing PBC champions, okay? So to me, yeah, I do love it. The thing with Mike Tyson, good on him. Good on Tyson, good on Paul. This is the greatest golden egg that they could have ever come up with. And mark my words, it's a smart fight. If it goes under 4 rounds, Tyson's actually going to kill him.
Right.
Like, he's ferocious. I don't think, like, Jake Paul hasn't been in a ring with someone who's an actual, I'm going to go in your face as a pit bull, and I'm going to get after you.
Right.
Like, and Mike Tyson's been working out for the last, 5-6 years. He punched a guy on the plane.
That's true.
For real.
That's a good point.
But Mike Tyson had a problem. This is where Jake Paul, I look, I go, you sneaky little devil. Mike Tyson had a problem with endurance. Mike Tyson, you get him in the 7th, 8th round. His prime, was getting tired out. Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, all of them would run the floor in his prime.
Yes, you're right.
His Logan Paul prime.
Nicely done.
See,
this is why we deserve
now
advertising.
At 57 years old, if Logan Paul can last 3 to 4 rounds, guys, he could win.
Okay, so let's go with that for a quick second. If Logan Paul wins, how big a deal is it? Like, does it kind of wreck anything? And here's my thing. Look, we're talking about Mike Tyson. Has he lost before? Of course he's lost. He lost to Evander and he lost to Buster Douglas, and Lennox, whatever. He's lost. But if he loses to Jake Paul, now granted he's like literally 30 years older than him, but it's still Mike Tyson. Does that kind of wreck Mike? I feel like there's more risk for Mike right now than anything else because to your point, you're absolutely right. Jake is doing his own thing. Both you and Larry are absolutely right. He's making his lifta. He's making his money. He's doing his thing. Boom, I'm doing my own thing. No, none of these other guys really want to fight me. Or like he keeps calling out Canelo. You know Canelo's not going to take him serious and fight him. But if Mike Tyson ends up losing, I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing. I really don't because it's good for Jake, really bad for boxing. I don't know.
What does Tyson got to lose? Sorry, Larry, if you're going. What does he got to lose at this? He's 57.
I know,
if he loses,
but it's the rep. It's the rep of boxing he's kind of putting on.
Mike Tyson's
you don't think
rep,
so?
His rep is secure. His rep is secure, Mitch.
I don't know, man. If he loses to Jake Paul, I think it kind of hurts him a little bit.
So how?
Because you've lost to this guy. He's a loudmouth. You got to remember, a lot of the people that are following Jake Paul are today's generation, not me and you, right? Those guys are going to be like, Mike Tyson. Do you think they're going to take the time to learn who he is and what he did? No.
And I think that's why it doesn't matter, right?
Exactly.
They won't take it. And Mike Tyson, we know who Mike Tyson is.
Right.
He's going to be almost 58 years old when this happens.
Yeah.
So if he loses, it's good. It'll be a nice show.
Yeah.
If he wins, though.
I just don't want him to lose.
But I know, but Mitch, like, what is the narrative actually going to be now that Mike Tyson at 58 years old lost to someone 30 years younger? That's it. Everything that he ever did, Iron Mike legacy is gone. I can't believe Mitch at 58. But that's like you beating up your dad right now. Actually, bad
I don't
analogy.
think I could do it.
I don't think you could do
I don't
that.
think
either.
I could do it.
Okay,
embarrassing.
But that would be like saying if Wayne Gretzky went into the NHL right now and couldn't get 40 points, are you going to turn around and be like, see, I told you the guy was a bum?
You're right, but
then move on.
You gotta listen. You got a good point. I'm just saying.
It's because Larry's here.
I'm trying to.
It's because Larry's here.
I'm trying to impress Larry.
I know. That's a bit something.
I'm just saying. You're doing a good job. He's here.
He's been here the whole time. Larry, you see what we deal with? You listen. Now you see.
I see it all.
What was there not to see? I'm just bringing up
It's all
a point.
on the table.
It's all on the table.
Mitch, you bring up points for the sake of bringing up points.
Yeah, that's usually what the podcast is. If we sat here and agreed with each other all day long, what good is that?
Let's wrap it up.
Let's go.
Well, sometimes it's not so bad. It's because I want you to respect my decisions.
All right. Well, speaking of decisions, Yes.
Time out
Yeah.
before we go.
Time.
Larry, Swiss Greek, who you got? Paul, Tyson. Winner is?
Tyson.
I say Tyson too.
I say Tyson.
I can't wait. Then I'm just going to go down Electric Avenue or 17th Avenue, and I'm just going to start fighting.
You're really nostalgic.
I'm very nostalgic. I'm going down, and I'm going to start fighting with everybody.
Yeah. We're going to the night gallery.
Gonna wear some black shorts. Too.
That's right, 100%. You know, I like those high shorts. You know me. All right. Yesterday was the NHL trade deadline. We've been talking about it for weeks. And let me tell you, NHL, good on you. You guys each year, the last couple of years especially, doesn't seem like you have a lot to play with, but you guys find people to trade. You're like, you know what? I think I found something under the counter. Let me give you this.
Larry, check this out. Speaking of trade, I got a Bedard rookie. I pulled it.
Oh, I heard about that. That's impressive. I'll talk to you later about that one.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. So, speaking of the superstar, speaking of everybody, listen, we could go through all the trades. We'll talk about a couple of them. But it's literally, listen, I said it earlier right before the pod started. There's a team out there. They're the defending champions. They're playing chess when everyone else is playing checkers. And then they're mad because, oh, they're cheating. How can they? No. What have we said on this pod 150 times? And we'll say it 151 times. If you're not cheating,
you're not trying.
And the Las Vegas Golden Knights, just like their home city, the house always wins. What am I talking about? They make two big trades right before. They get the Hannafin from Calgary. That's big. But wait a minute. How can they afford this guy? Hold on. We're not done. Then they go around and they look around and they're like, you know what? Who's the worst team in the NHL right now? This San Jose. They got a good player. Thomas Hurdle. Is he on the, well, he's not on the TSN ticker list. Well, who cares? Can we get him? Sure. Put this guy on the injured reserve. Boom. Bring him in. And they get Thomas Hurdle and they get a couple of conditional picks after the fact. Hilarious. Bottom line, what are you guys' thoughts on Las Vegas? Defending champion, right now sitting at the second wild card. So they fell out of the Pacific top 3. So a little bit of desperation is maybe why all this stuff's happening. Do you like or not like what Vegas did? And are they cheaters?
Love it. No, they're not cheaters. They're playing within the rules of the system.
That's right.
Right? They're playing the system.
They're playing the system.
So why not? If you know the rules, then play within it. And is it cheating? Yeah. I don't know. It's Vegas, though. They know how to work it.
That's right. But how is it cheating, to your point,
No.
when you're literally, these are the rules. They showed everyone their hand last year that they do this, where they put
Tampa
guys
Bay
on.
too.
And Tampa Bay before that. Exactly.
Everyone should be doing that.
Oh, exactly.
Oh, shame. Kucherov is injured.
Oh, we have integrity. We have, well, you don't have a Stanley Cup is what you don't have. I'll tell you that right now. Dimitri, thoughts on Vegas?
You know what? I picked Dallas. Now do I go and I flip and I pick Vegas? I don't know. But all I know is that the West got that much harder.
Yeah.
That was a good team. That's a playoff build team. I don't care where they seed. Once they get in, they're going to be rolling. But now, I mean, that defensive core. Now you got Hannafin, you got Peter Angelo, you got Theodore. You go down the list. Now you add a Hurdle.
Yeah.
Holy smoke!
Stone will come back.
Stone will come back. They worked it. They're milking it.
It's 3 solid lines right
It's
there.
unbelievable.
They can go for 4. They had Quick last year, but they got goalies that they can rely on. Yeah. I mean, it is their championship, and they're doing everything in their power to keep it. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? That's the whole thing. I don't know. I just don't understand, and I hate this whole thing that everyone keeps calling them cheaters because, to the point, it just sounds like no one wants to do what they're doing. And then when they do it and they've shown success, everyone's like mad at them. It's like, I feel like this is some sort of, there's got to be a good analogy of how we're all married and our wives getting mad at us about not doing something. I feel like it's there.
All they're
I just can't think
doing,
of it.
all they're doing is they took out a home equity line of credit.
There.
Okay, they need to pay it back. Here's the risk of it, because when it all happens, now you're exceedingly over. You have to make changes to your team regardless. So this is going broke beyond broke. Like, to say in a Vegas analogy, they literally just took a marker on their team.
Right. I like what you did there.
You see what I did
That's
there?
excellent.
See what I did?
You know, there's times I look at you and I'm like, you know what? That's my partner over there.
It's real.
That's real.
Stop it.
All right,
Who else we got?
some of the other trades that were made. Toffoli. This guy just doesn't like. He's a transient guy. Toffoli gets moved from Jersey. He's over to Winnipeg.
He belongs there.
You know what? That team, you have to be a certain size there. You know what I mean? They're all like 6'2", 230. They're all huge over there.
Yeah. It's
It works.
Yeah.
It works.
Remember, Larry, you talked about just stars? I don't even know if they're stars, but, they're just a consistent brand.
They're ours.
Yeah.
Wait, did he go to the Jersey of Canada? He went from New Jersey to Jersey of Canada.
Oh, my goodness.
Winnipeg.
That's exactly it. So the transition wasn't that bad. You're right.
He thinks he's still in Jersey. It's like, what happened to all the accents?
Hey, bud. How you doing, hey, bud? It's like, man, they're talking weird again over here. What's going on over here? What's happening? The Oilers got a little bit better right before the trade deadline. They picked up Adam Henrique from the Anaheim. This guy is a talented player. Had a resurgent year. I like this pick for Oilers. And by the way, rumor had it, real quick, that Tanev was on his way to going to the Oilers. And then Mr. Conroy, pulled it off, said, no, we can't do it. Thank you. I swear to God, if the Flames had traded Tanev to the Oilers, I might stop watching. There's got to be a point where rivalries mean something. I'm sick and tired of this. So I know we've talked about it a little bit, but it can't happen, you guys.
Somehow we would have given Tanev for the Oilers for Lucic and James Neal again.
Which would have been a good trade.
Like
I would have been okay with that.
Oh, this is great.
What do you think? A thought on the Oilers getting a little bit stronger, just a little bit stronger.
Buddy, they're heating up. Connor McDavid, 11 points back from first place in scoring. Everything's heating up over there.
They still need some defense.
I agree.
Yeah,
I do.
They can have all the offense they want.
Is Skinner the kind of guy that could win you the Stanley Cup? Is Skinner good enough?
He showed up in the last little bit, right? So you can see 16 game winning streak, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So they can't do it. But come playoffs, different game. Got to show up.
You're right, Larry. The defense is the problem because if you look, we just talked about Vegas winning. They won the Cup with a third stringer, right? And so if you got a good defensive core, you're right. If Skinner's in net winning 16 games in a row,
right,
and you just beef up the defensive core, you're right. So he can win. Look, the Darnell Nurse thing to me is the biggest tragedy in sports.
Yeah, we've talked about it.
It's the biggest tragedy.
I feel like
sports.
if he ever meets us or sees us, he will beat us up. I do believe this.
What's that? I don't think he could.
A what?
Have you seen my jab?
Okay.
Anyways, how fast do you run?
Yeah. Well, he's actually pretty fast. Now, the team that a lot of people are underestimating, they're boring. We've talked about it before.
Hold on. Are you the fastest runner in the Greek community? I would put my money on you, actually. In your prime.
Who's chasing me? My mom.
If our moms are all chasing us, yeah, exactly. We're
all our moms are chasing us.
Then who's the fastest? Yeah, Larry's up there.
I'm pretty sure.
I think I might be able to take Larry.
You were fast, though.
I used to be fast, yeah.
Yeah, there's no way you outrun him.
There was a time I could probably take Larry. At one time in my life, about 5 years ago.
Yeah, but Mitch, your stride alone has you at a disadvantage.
Listen, Larry saw me on the track. Have you seen the calves? Look at this thing. Look at
whoa.
Hey, watch out. That kind of show. Wait, what was that?
Jeez,
a Clydesdale walked in here? No, it's me. That's who it is.
Smokes. Put the club away. Put the club away. What is that, a lamb leg?
I can't even put these things down. I gotta put it halfway up the
lamb
calf.
shanks down, man. Relax.
It's a lot of meat on that bone. Now, the team that got maybe the best, but no one wants to talk to them because they're in Carolina. They're a little boring. First off, they ended up getting Kuznetsov. That was kind of a nice little pick out of Washington.
Yeah.
They sent him down the minors. Like, hey, if you don't want him, we'll take him. And then it's your boy out of Pittsburgh. It's the Gunsel. The Gunsel? How do you say this guy?
The Gensel.
The Gensel.
It's a type of meat.
It's a type of meat. Now, he goes over to Carolina, and Pittsburgh got literally 5 draft picks. Dubas, just so you know, that's what a draft pick is. Those are draft picks. Toronto doesn't have any because you gave them all out. That's what a draft pick looks like. Thoughts on the Carolina? They, on paper, got stronger and maybe the strongest out of everybody.
You know what? They got some scoring for sure. Right. I actually like this for both teams. Carolina is always just there, but they can never close. They can never close. But here, I gotta, my homeboys, my Pittsburgh.
Right.
I really love this one. I actually really do. I'm going to take a lot of heat for saying that. How could you say that? The guy had 50 points, 52 games. He's up there. It's Crosby, it's Morgan, it's Gensel. I get it. Guys, have we learned nothing? You could put anybody with Sidney Crosby, and they're going to get points.
Right.
Kunitz was a top point getter with Crosby. Guerin had a resurgence because he played with Crosby. It's escaping me the line mates that they had, and it was Kunitz, Dupree, right? Was it Dupree?
Yeah.
Right.
Dupree, yeah.
Right. Okay. Buddy, they even brought him to the Olympic team to play with Crosby.
Well, he is. You're absolutely right, man. Crosby just makes everyone better.
Yeah, Pascal Dupuis. There we go.
Right.
Dupuis, not Dupree. So the point is Gensel looks amazing because he's getting fed the puck by Crosby all day long when you're in the last year of your contract and you know that you got to give that guy minimum $8 million. I think Dubas learned his lesson from Toronto. Pittsburgh's the benefactor of Dubas going all in Toronto.
Right.
That's how I see it.
Any thoughts on Larry? Did you? What do you think? Especially a 5-for-1 deal. It was literally like 2 or 3 current players and draft picks. Like it was a haul for one guy that, to Dimitri's point, gets fed by one dude.
Well, that's the thing, right? At one point, Pittsburgh's going to have to not do the rebuild, but just restructure their entire team, right? They've been relevant the last several years, but they're not going anywhere this year. So you need to get some return, and this Gensel trade may actually showcase how good Crosby is. You put him in Carolina and put Gensel in Carolina, is he going to be the same guy? We'll find out, but I don't know. As you said, all those other guys you just mentioned, they were the benefactor of Sidney Crosby. So we'll see what happens with Carolina and that. And no, I think Pittsburgh did the right thing. They got something in return to make themselves ready for the future.
Yeah, that's right. I just don't know if Dubas is that guy, or if he has the patience to build a team. No. That's the thing. Because, Mitch, buddy, you know what's funny? Sorry to interrupt. Brad Treliving made a small little trade, or maybe a couple of small ones. He literally was trading the gum under the table. He had nothing. Yep. There was nothing left in the cupboard for that poor guy.
Agreed.
I felt kind of sorry for the guy.
I agree with that. The other thing that we got to keep in mind, too, is that Crosby, Malkin, and Letang are 4 years away from absolute irrelevancy.
Right. Well, that's the other thing. They bring in Carlson this year thinking, okay, look at the team we put together. Malkin, Carlson, Letang, Crosby. We're going to... Oh.
No, that would have been good 5 years ago.
Yeah. That would have been... You know what? I'll argue that it's still good if they have enough youth for speed.
Right. Sure.
At that point, like, who can argue that veteran core to take into the playoffs? But you need the young guys. That's where the GM prior... unfortunately, like when I look around the league and we got rid of all our young guys that are fast. We didn't need them to be super goal scorers. That's where I think it hurt. I think that's what hurt Pittsburgh more than anything.
Yeah, you might be right. Well, let's get over to the Sports Show Power Rankings brought to you by Sinatra's 403-455-7222. Congratulations to my brother Nick. Just had a beautiful baby girl the other day. Sophia,
unreal.
we love you.
And love it. Right before the trade deadline.
Right before he got it. Nick got it right
Sneak
under.
it in.
Snuck it in. Now remember, this is based on the flop or the curve, if you will. It's what have you done for us lately. At number 5, last week, I said, sell everything and just head to the playoffs. It's Nashville. They became buyers. It's Nashville at number 5. At number 4, it's the Winnipeg Jets. They just got a little bit bigger, a little bit better, and hey, they're heading into the playoffs with a whole bunch of guys that, if they get going, I don't know who's going to stop these guys. It's like a freight train. These guys are big boys.
And now with Toffoli.
I'm telling you. At number 3, it's the Oilers. I mean, they literally did just get a little bit better, and we tend to forget. There's still Corey Perry there, Evander Kane. They got a lot of pieces in Edmonton. If it's going to happen, this is it. If it's not, wait till the offseason. I have lots to say about it. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. At number 2, it's the Vancouver Canucks. They, got Pettersson signed. $11 million. They got that under control. They were on a little bit of a skid. They weren't sure what to do, but they got their best player signed. Everything's fine. They head into the play. And at number 1, we said it at the beginning of the show. What have you done for me lately? Hey, Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. They are playing chess while everyone's playing checkers. It's the number 1 team. They're the defending champs. Granted, they just got to make the playoffs now. And then watch out.
Fair.
And there we go. All right, we're off to the NFL, and that's where Larry exceeds. That's why I think he wanted to come on the show. We started with a little NFL with the San Francisco 49er talk, but now let's get into it.
That's right.
Last week,
the floor
I know
is
you
yours,
listened to the show, Larry. I know you listened. I know you want to talk about the Bears. You want to get into this Bear talk. What did the Chicago Bears do? Because here's the thing. The Combine just finished. Yeah. Caleb Williams, all right, shows up to the Combine, is the first player ever to not do any of the drills and not get a medical. So the Malaka literally just showed up. He's like, I'm here. I'm your number 1 draft pick. Choose me. This is what the Bears now are going to say. I'm telling you, this to me has now shown the Chicago Bears, what are you going to do? This is interesting.
Well, I think what's going to happen is the Chicago Bears organization is going to actually demonstrate how bad they really are and probably go for him.
Right.
This guy didn't even play really much last year, and he was not playing well. By the second half of the college football season, people weren't even talking about Caleb Williams. He was having a poor game. He didn't even want to play.
Right.
Right. So this guy, as you said, shows up, actually doesn't show up, and it says, pick me first. I still don't know why he's first overall. Yes, he's good in the pocket. Yes, he can throw the ball well. Yeah. But that's the college game. You throw him onto a Chicago Bears team, he's going to become Justin Fields.
Yes.
And I think Justin Fields is a better quarterback in terms of how to operate with the run game. He just has not been able to showcase on the Bears team. The Bears, I don't know what they've been doing. It's fine by me. It's an NFC team, so I'm sure for you guys it's fine.
We're hoping. We're wishing for it.
Yeah, so I hope they trade him, get Caleb Williams, and set them back another 2-3 years. If that's the case.
If they're lucky.
If they're lucky,
yeah. I don't know. For me right now, I look at this whole thing, and I think we said it last week. We were roasting Justin Fields last year at the beginning of the season. He was playing horribly. Then he started figuring it out, started picking it up. And now the thing is, I think Justin Fields is a little bit like Jacob Markstrom. His name's been thrown out into the wild. It's like, oh, you're going to go to Atlanta. You're going to go here. You're going to go there. Even if the Chicago calls him today, the GM of Chicago calls and says, hey, you know what? We've decided we're going to keep you. I think he's already checked out. This is one of the problems, I think, of Justin Fields right now. I don't think he wants to stay in Chicago, man.
Yeah, maybe he's jaded a little bit, but I think if they give him a chance, he'll stay. I think they need to give him the opportunity to say, listen, we're just going to stay consistent and run a program here instead of, changing it on the fly every second or third week.
Right.
And that's really been the issue. And so for the first time, the Bears started to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, you got to think, like, I'm thinking of the Bears team when Justin Fields came into the league. And imagine if they didn't trade or change a thing. I think that team's a lot better, Mitch.
But I'm going to ask Larry and you this. I said it last week, and I want to ask again. What's wrong with the idea of just taking him and keeping both?
Yeah, I heard that too, right? You keep kind of the Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love scenario where you just develop him, right? Because you can see sometimes when these young quarterbacks come in, they're not prepared for the NFL game.
Absolutely not.
Right? So now you see with Jordan Love, he comes in, he basically becomes Aaron Rodgers at the second half of last year, right? He takes a young team and can do it. Chicago's can be a young team too, and it is a young team. Develop the quarterbacks. A lot of teams now are just, they want it immediately. They want Tom Brady. They want Joe Montana.
Yeah.
They want whoever to come in and produce. Well, that's not how the game works, right? Those are very fine diamonds in the rough. And I'm not saying that these guys cannot be good, but give them some time. You cannot be changing coaches, changing OCs, changing the entire system, changing plays on the fly. No, these guys are not capable of doing it. Only a few are capable to come in and actually read defenses, read everything, right? So, to me, give the guy a chance, pick up Williams, screw everyone else in the first 5 picks, and just mess them up.
I agree. That's the name of the game, isn't it? You take the best player off the board. And if Caleb doesn't like it, you know what? Hey, too bad, man. Sit back there, be quiet, learn a little something. And he kind of did it to himself. Mm-hmm. You don't throw a ball at the combine. You just show up. You don't even do the medical. Dude, you're kind of asking everyone to do this to you, in my humble opinion. Like, you're basically saying it.
Well, the thing is overall, I agree. Like, I'm a proponent of take the best available player at all times. If they draft him and they never let him see a snap for however long, his value's still there, you guys.
Absolutely. It is.
Because at this point, it's all speculation. No one's just seen him play the NFL game. So that value will always stay and stay and stay. So if I'm the Bears, unless I'm getting like the movie Draft Day, right, where you're literally...
Great movie.
3 picks.
3 picks and Putney.
I mean, that was big. That was big. Okay. He got the Putney at the end.
You got Putney at the
so
end.
You need Kevin Costner.
You need...
Damn right.
You need Kevin Costner. That's all what it comes down to.
Jennifer Garner's not bad. She helped. She was
there.
Helped. She did some
stuff.
All right.
Yeah, she did all right.
That's
Dennis Leary?
He sounds like
he didn't believe it first, but
he saw.
Stay the course. Stay the course.
That's right.
But I think you always protect it. Unless someone come the draft is literally selling the farm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like just obnoxious. Like, you think the Pittsburgh deal was good for picks and prospects? If you got double that, then you say, yeah, you know what? You can go. Have at her. Until then, take it.
Yeah,
I love it, Larry. Screw the next 5 people.
Yeah, 100%.
They're not friends. We're not giving them standing ovations.
That's don't even get me
Is the
started,
NFL
Larry.
gonna come to Calgary Flames? No.
Exactly.
Say it, Larry.
Say it.
Man.
Now, speaking of some change, it's official now. Russell Wilson. See you later.
Let's ride out of town.
Yeah, let's ride or get lost. Well, I guess is really what happened. Sean Payton said, yeah, man, you're not working here. We're not friends. You're gone. Pittsburgh and the Giants. Now, I saw the Giants name come up, and I'm like, wait a minute. Didn't you guys give all this money to Daniel Jones last year?
They're just going to take it from him?
Yeah.
And give it to
And then
Wilson?
like, here you go.
Hey, Daniel.
Come on.
What do you think? Now, do you think Russell's got any fuel
Oh
left
my
in the
God!
tank?
Hold on, Larry. That's the best idea. Instead of the organization signing player contract,
Swap it.
you approach the player, and the player has the contract.
Yeah.
He's getting the VIG.
Yeah, he
He's
gets
like,
the
I'll
thing.
lend
He's like,
you this.
He's like, listen, if I'm Daniel Jones, be like, nah, hold on. I'll take the contract.
Yeah.
Like the Giants.
Yeah.
No. Me personally, Larry.
Yeah.
This is why you're the Swiss Greek.
That's
No
right.
side. You gotta
This
stay
is
in
why
between.
he's the genius.
That's what I'm here for.
So
Player contract.
There's the Pittsburgh and the Giants, and I'm sure even Atlanta's looking at him right now. Atlanta seems to be touching they're talking to everybody, but they're not going to the date with anyone. How do you interview Bill Belichick twice and then go against them? Anyways, we'll talk about Atlanta another time. But right now with Russell, what do we do with Russell? Does he go to? Here's Pittsburgh that somehow still makes the playoffs every year. I don't understand how. Not sure where.
Coaching.
Coaching.
Yeah. So
All
does he
coaching.
go Pittsburgh? Is this maybe the final piece to Pittsburgh's problem since Ben left? Because then you're walking away from Kelly, right? Or Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett, you got Trubisky,
And the Mitch?
Right? The Mitch.
And
You got a Mitch.
Mitch.
It's a good Mitch, right? So you can't.
Listen, the Mitch
Not the
sitting
best Mitch.
third, but Mitch is okay with sitting on the bench. And by the way, remember, Mitch was a first overall pick.
Absolutely.
Bears. I'm just saying. Continue.
Fair point. I don't know if Pittsburgh's the team for him.
I agree. They're a hard, gritty team. I don't think Wilson's a gritty player right now, especially at this stage of the career he's in, right? He's not a Tomlin type quarterback, in my humble opinion.
Of course.
Right? So,
I agree with you. And I don't even New York, I think he'll get eaten alive. Like you don't need that kind
but
of
many factors, fans and
Yeah.
like you don't
division,
need
right?
that
So-
kind of heat. You know, he's got I don't know where a guy like him goes. A guy like
He's got to go somewhere.
You got to go somewhere
Atlanta
with a good
would have
old
been
line.
good.
Yeah,
Atlanta would have
actually.
been
You think
fine.
so?
I think would have been fine. I think he's from that area too.
We talked about coaching or succession planning. If I'm a team, he's the right kind of guy to be like the Bears could actually draft maybe not them, but the Bears be like, you know what? We're going to take Caleb. We're going to get the Wilson.
Right.
I want you to coach these guys. They ain't going to say anything because guess what? You're a Super Bowl champ. And let's work our way. Like, I'm not saying that, but that's where Wilson, in my opinion, has got to go.
That would be a great.
Atlanta's
That's
a
a
good
great
one.
idea.
What about Indy? Is he an Indy guy?
Is he an indie guy?
But you got what's his face there, Richardson.
Yeah, I know, but that's
Richardson's- and you know what? He was on his way. That kid until
He was
got hurt.
good.
He's good. Yeah.
He's got to change the way he plays, but
Yeah, for
he
sure.
was okay.
guys. I got it.
He's like
We're
a-
overlooking it.
Where?
He's got to go to Philly. They're a 2-quarterback team. He's the new Foles.
Yeah.
He's the new Foles.
And you know what? Hurts shaved his goatee off. It looks silly.
Hurts
Dude.
gets you to
Looks
the
silly.
Hurts gets you to the playoffs. Wilson wins it for you.
That could. You know what? Is it
a
crazy to
scenario.
say that Russell would be maybe, a
Backup?
backup quarterback somewhere?
Yeah, at one point he's going to have to be, right?
Right.
Look at Flacco, right? So he comes back, takes the Browns all the way.
Yeah, but there's the point. If I'm Russell and I'm hearing that Flacco's got a starting position over me, I'm pissed. I'm like, no, wait a minute. What's happening here? What's
The
happening here?
quarterback controversy in Cleveland.
Mind you, you know what? Flacco's got a Super Bowl too, now that I think about it. And he's comeback player of the year. By the way, like you get comeback player of the year, but you played like 8 games, 4, 5, 6 games, I think it was.
Yeah, that's a half comeback.
That's a half comeback. It's not
Yeah,
full
that was weird.
comeback.
That's a weird one. One guy dies on field and he doesn't get comeback player of the year.
Couple of big names on the field.
Seriously.
Couple of big names. We'll talk about them real quick. What are your thoughts on Kirk Cousins? Now, here's the name. Kirk Cousins right now, it looks like Minnesota's going to just lay off him or he's going to go. I mean, has anyone made more money than Kirk Cousins for, I don't want to say he hasn't done anything, but he hasn't done anything.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Good point.
Guy's
Yeah.
ranking it in and this is staying in Vegas. Come on. He did it right.
Yeah, he did it right. Absolutely did.
Listen, speaking of Vegas,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if there's one team Kirk Cousins has to go to, it's Vegas. Him on the Vegas team, game changer, because he can throw the ball.
Oh, absolutely you can.
And I mean, you give him Adams. Look what he does with Jefferson.
Well, that's what I mean. It's the same kind of player.
It's the same thing. Like, guys, I'm Cousins. I'm going to Vegas.
But why is Minnesota going off him? I don't understand. Why doesn't Minnesota just give him the bank?
Because they have to pay Jefferson.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Who do you want to
point.
keep, though? So this is the question. Who do you want to keep? Do you want to keep a superstar receiver for $35 million a year and have nothing else? Or do you need a quarterback to feed the ball to stars or mediocre players? And
Right.
that comes down to how you're going to balance the
I'm going
salary
to give
cap.
money to the quarterback all the time. I mean, your receiver is nothing without a guy throwing him the ball. It is what it is. I'm sorry.
Look at Devontae Adams.
Right. Exactly.
I agree, but I don't think Cousins wants to stay. He's getting the shit kicked out of him year over year
that's
over
true.
year,
You can't
and it's
stay.
getting worse.
Yeah. So you need to go somewhere with an old line, but much longer is he actually going to play too? Right?
Tampa Bay.
Tampa
What
Bay.
about Tampa Bay?
Well, Mayfield, they're
take over
going to
Mayfield, I don't know.
I don't know. Mayfield
Evans,
right now has
yeah.
proven he belongs.
And
let's say
Evans
that.
vouched for him, so.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, last one. This one's a big one because I think it's like inevitable it's going to happen. And I actually think it could be a resurgence for this guy. Not that he really needs it, but it's King Henry going to the Cowboys. That's where the big talk is. Now, we've talked about it before. Derrick Henry, best running back or big power running back, whatever you want to call it in the league, going to a Dallas team with a great offensive line.
Yeah, but
He's got the Jerry behind him. They kind of need the run. Look, listen, Ezekiel and Pollard, they were good, but they weren't great.
I
A
think
guy like
Pollard's
this, I
fine.
think could.
Yeah, Pollard was fine.
You know what? Pollard wasn't what they thought he was going to be after they got off him. Like,
yeah, but he was doing
maybe
fine until he
dual.
got
Maybe he
injured.
needs he's the Batman and a Robin kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? He needs an extra. He needs some help.
No, I think he's better than that, Mitch.
You know
I think
what?
he's
I'm
better
just
than
telling you.
that.
I
don't
would
know
put
if
my
Dallas
money.
needs to spend money there.
No, I'm okay with that. They can spend all the money they want on
Yeah,
that.
fair. Yeah, fair. Well, fair enough. Fair enough.
No, but you bring a Henry in, right? He's also on the tail end of his career because he's got beat up a lot in Tennessee. You bring him in, how much more effective will he be on that Dallas team?
True. I don't think he's going to be the. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. If there's one thing we learned last year, it's you got to be able to run the ball in the playoffs, or you got to have a run game. You got to have it. It doesn't. It's all flashy at the beginning. Everyone's passing, blah blah. But you need a little bit of a run game. I'm not saying Dallas needs him because he's essential. They don't have a run game, but I think it helps. I don't know. I think he's that kind of guy that can help. He'll take a little pressure off the CD. He'll take a little pressure off the Dak. He'll take a little pressure off everybody. Make it a little more fun. I mean, this is a team that scored a lot of points as it was last year, you know? But you got to change it up a little bit. Can't always do missionary. You got to change it up a little bit, right?
Problem with Dallas is none of them carry guns anymore. The moment that left, the whole team went.
You know what? It's a good point. It's a good point. They got to be bad
more
boys
gun
again.
in the suitcase.
Yeah.
That's the attitude.
Just got to be concealed. That's fine.
That's it. That's the attitude you need. It's left. It's gone. There's no killer instinct.
Exactly. You know, as I look over at Larry's shirt, I see he's wearing a Lakers shirt, and I got to bring it up. Larry, I know you love the LeBron. I know you think he's the greatest of all time. I get it and all that. I know the way you think.
It's what
Kobe.
he-
The
it's
big
what he
data.
does.
It's the
It's what
big
he
data
does.
told me. The big data told me you're loving the LeBron.
He's on my team. Of course, I love him.
Exactly. But let me ask you a question. What are your thoughts, honestly, on LeBron and the Lakers right now? Like, what is it with you guys? You always have to you won your NBA Cup. Congratulations, by the way, on that.
I bought a
this
shirt.
year.
I bought the inaugural NBA Cup
Congratulations
shirt
on
to
that. That was
commemorate.
Yes, the iconic NBA Cup.
Yes, brilliant.
But what are you?
You can really drink out of
It's
that
not, even, it's not
trophy.
even a cup.
They're sitting in like 9th or 10th, so basically they're in the playoffs right now with the way this new
two-game
NBA
play.
format, right?
Yep.
But what are your thoughts on the Lakers? What's up with these guys?
They are very inconsistent. Ham doesn't, I don't know, he doesn't know how to control the team. LeBron's better at being coached,
Right.
and not coaching it. And I think he gave way to Pelinka to give him a little bit more leeway to like build a team around him because the two failed experiments did not work in the last couple of years. So listen, is he a great player at almost 40 years old? Absolutely. The guy got 40,000 points last week. That is quite the accomplishment. But he can't do it all himself. The bench, and it comes down to the NBA, you need a good bench. You need that 6th, 7th, 8th player.
You're right.
Right? And look how Golden State did it several years back. Look what Minnesota's doing now. Look what Boston's doing. They have a bench, right?
Yeah.
Miami Heat have been always there because Spoelstra knows how to get a bench. LeBron didn't want that bench. He wanted to be the guy. AD doesn't have that killer instinct,
Yeah, he's gone.
right? He can show it sometimes. Like yesterday, he showed it against Giannis. Of all people,
Yeah.
he showed up against Giannis and did a good job, but they're very inconsistent. So the Lakers need to figure that out if they want to make a push in this play-in tournament and then make it push into the playoffs. Last year they did it. They went against Denver.
Right.
Who's going to stop Denver? And I think that comes down to it.
Yeah.
A healthy Denver is still the best team in the NBA.
They have everything: perimeter shooting, inside game, passing. Come on, when you guys 7'1" passing 20 assists a game, and getting 20 boards and getting 20 points, that's a team game.
He literally is. Just, I think I saw a stats today. He's like 1 point away, either a rebound. No, he's an assist away from being a triple double.
Yep.
Like for the season.
Stats, yep.
He's obviously
For a center, that's
for a
amazing.
center.
Average triple double.
Yeah.
You guys, this
That's
is
point guard stuff.
insanity.
It's crazy. He
This
really
is
has changed the
insanity.
game. Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, his trajectory puts him on pace to surpass Shaq as best big man ever to play the game.
It's a different game.
It's a
too,
different
though, right?
game.
It
He's
is
not,
a
He's not
different
a power
game, you're
game, right? And that's the thing. And you got to put every era of NBA, you got to kind of put it in their own little basket, right? So statistics wise, sure, but I don't know. Today's game, that's today's game, the Euro game.
Yeah.
So
It really is. And I mean, it's going to be another European that wins MVP again this year. It's going to go 5 years in a row. And it's, hey, USA. They lost to Cuba in some qualifying match I noticed the other day. Way to go, USA. I mean, you're really showing the world your powerhouse in that field.
I mean, your bench should beat the Cuban national team.
It didn't.
you need more McClung.
You need more McClung.
They call it the Cuban basketball crisis. What was that? The Bay of Balls.
There it is. All right. You know what? We're off to, everyone's favorite segment. It's Rapid Banter.
All right.
Larry, feel free to jump in. Do you guys want me to alternate? How do you want to do this?
No, he's
just straight up to the
Okay,
the
let's
captain?
go, let's
All
go.
right, here you go. The Calgary Flames did not end up trading Jacob Markstrom anywhere. A, is he mad?
Still mad.
B, will him and Connie ever make up?
No.
Anthony Joshua knocked out Nagano last night in the first few seconds of the second round. Fluke hit or Nagano needs to beg Dana White for his job back.
Nagana complained about getting all that money.
Brad Marchand played his thousandth game the other day. Be honest, who's better all-time Bruin, Bergeron or Marchand?
Bergeron.
What?
However, it's Cam Neely.
Kessel.
Rapid
Jason Kelsey retired this week. He said, I won't forget Nick Foles having the game of his life on the biggest stage possible and the biggest dick on the team. What was the bigger compliment?
He's still Travis's brother.
Seth Rogen has no kids.
Center? Come on. Yeah, I'm the center on the team.
Seth Rogen has no kids because he was parenting, because he says parenting does not sound fun. Is he right?
That's because he smokes 8 pounds of weed a day.
But he's also right. Devils this week fired Lindy Ruff. Good timing or too late?
It was supposed to be Toffoli.
Last one. Bad Boys 4 has officially wrapped. Are you excited as I am?
Mike Lowry.
Lowry.
Bad boys, what you gonna do?
What you gonna do when you come for you? It was on TV the other day. You know what? When I first remember it coming out, the very first time, I'm like, these two together? This is the worst combination. No. Greatest combo of all time.
Yeah, Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker are pretty good too.
What? Greatest movie duos?
Oh, my God.
Mitch, do you have it?
No, that
Next
was
week.
good. Next week, you got to come
Arnold
back.
and Danny DeVito.
That's a good one, too.
Huge.
There are some great ones out there that you don't. Well, of course, it's the Maverick and the Goose. You got
Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson?
That's it. Yeah. Right. What are we doing? Maga.
We don't need to write anything down.
Exactly. All right. It's Maga Malaka time. This week, you guys know me. I was perusing the nets.
Okay.
And Tyreek Hill, pardon me, of the Miami Dolphins, his house earlier in the year burnt down, right? But his neighbor is a famous rapper, Rick Ross, right? But Tyreek was on a podcast and he was a little mad and he says, I can never be friends with Rick Ross because when my house was burning, he was recording it and talking to all the cops and the firemen and he wasn't calling me to say, hey, your house is on fire. So it's Maga Malaka, things to do when your neighbor's house breaks out in a fire.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yep.
First thing to do, call 911. Maga or Malaka.
Yeah, Maga. You got to do that. You
You
got to be a
call
good
them.
neighbor. That's a good neighbor.
That's a good neighbor.
That should be at least
go-to.
the second call.
At least.
At least.
Yeah.
Call you,
Yeah.
Maga or Malaka, the neighbor. Hey, your house is burning down. What do I do?
No, you know what? I retract. Malaka, you got to call the cops first, then call the neighbor because the neighbor wants to know that you did work.
Right. And this is what Tyreek is kind of talking about.
Yeah, because he's got to tell you, call the cops.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. How about in this case, it looked like because Rick Ross was recording it, like he was recording the fire and people were recording him recording the fire. So call the news. Maybe you want to get famous. You need a little bit of that pub. You need the hits, that endorphin hit. Instagram. You got to go live on Instagram. Maga or Malaka. Go live.
Yeah, that's a little Malaka.
That's Malaka.
Yeah, unless you call the cops first.
So it really is contingent on calling the cops first, you guys are saying.
Depends how close you are.
That's a good point.
If you're on the hill across the way,
Oh yeah, no.
And I don't think
let it film.
I
Let
think
it
he
film.
was the
Evidence.
neighbor across the street, like across, not next.
Yeah.
So I think to him, he's like, well, listen, it's not really my neighbor.
Okay,
He's kind of my
who's a
neighbor.
bigger
the street.
Malaka though? Rick Ross for filming, or the guy who filmed Rick Ross filming?
Well, I think Rick Ross, because
Put
the
it
guy,
in perspective, Larry. Who's the more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows?
Ooh, the fool who follows.
Suck it, Mitch.
Yeah.
That's Star Wars.
Oh, no. I'm outdone 2-1. How about this? Grabbing a garden hose. Grab the garden hose and help out.
Wait a second. They weren't holding hose this whole time.
No,
Oh
no.
no. The first thing you do is grab the garden hose.
Grab the garden hose.
Come on.
Make an effort.
Yeah.
Make an effort.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
Maga.
can do. You have two hands.
Yeah, exactly. How about this one? Pray. Maga or Malaka, just pray. Just like, hey, you know what? Maybe it won't, yeah, your roof is on fire, but maybe it's not so bad. Maybe it's more.
Yeah, you go, Maga.
Yeah.
Pray. It
Yeah,
helps.
I think
Yeah,
praying. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're only doing the pray,
Yeah.
you got to have someone else that's doing the other things. If you're doing the hose and the pray,
Right.
like if you're doing one of these,
Right.
like while you're going, that's good.
That's
Maga.
okay.
I
That's
get
Maga.
behind
Yeah,
that.
that's good.
But a good prayer, it's thoughtful.
How about being that neighbor that flags down the fire truck? You know, runs to the end of the block. He's like, hey, over here. Over here.
Maga. Immediate Maga.
Maga.
They're usually the ones that coordinate the block party.
Hold on a sec.
yeah.
Can you not see the fire? The fire.
That's
if
what
you're
I'm
a
thinking.
fireman, you should be able to know where
That's
you're
kind
going.
of part of the protocol of the job.
It's over there. Thank you.
Right there.
See the smoke? It's good.
If there's no smoke, it's not that big of a fire.
You know what? I retract. You're right. That is the Malaka because that's the same guy who tells you how to cook on your grill and doesn't even do anything to help you.
Flip it now.
On the damn grill.
Flip it now. Flip it now.
Okay, what about running in? You see the house is on fire, you've called the police, but you don't know where the neighbors. Do you run to the door, knock, do something? Maga or Malaka?
I've seen backdraft. It's a little scary. But
I know, right?
But knock and walk away.
Knock and walk away. Hello?
Ring the doorbell.
Yeah.
The doorbell's essential.
Now,
Yeah, Maga.
what if there's an animal in there? Do you go for the neighbor or the animal?
It's like right here.
Am I looking at your notes?
No, you were. Yeah, I think you were looking at. I saw you earlier. Don't worry, I saw what you were doing.
The animal. Who do you say first? You start with the low-hanging fruit. If the animal's right there, it's always a good story.
I'd break their window.
With the animal?
No, well, I'm not gonna lie. It depends on the animal. If it's a fish in the fish bowl, yes. You know what I mean? All right, last one. You called the fire department. You've called everybody. You can do
Right.
But what if your neighbor calls your wife before he calls you? Maga or Malaka?
Malaka.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Are you on my notes? I'm like, how'd you get a
Why?
number?
How'd you
get the number?
Whoa.
What's going on
That's
here?
Malaka. Yeah.
There it is.
No, you call me.
Yeah. You only
You
have one
call
number.
me.
It's me.
You call me is right.
That's right. And the only number that you need to know is 297. Why? Because that's the episode of the sports show that we're having right now. We can't thank you enough, the Swiss Greek. He came in with goods. He's got spanakopoulos. He's got lukanica. Those are the sausage and spinach pies. Unbelievable. Look at that. Larry, thank you for being on the show.
Appreciate it, boys.
Thank you, man.
I'll be back.
Oh, first,
yes,
you see, it's a
absolutely.
drug, right? See, this is the thing. This is what we do on Saturday. You know, we don't care if our wives get it. We get it. This is for us. It's for us. It's for you. Sports Show episode 297. One for the books. We got to shove it in the locker because we got to hit the shower.
You can say what you got when it's Tuesday, I be locked in. Cause she don't know the difference between this and them. Now you about to win this. Well, freedom is so now.
W. We're saved by the bell by the Sports Show, playing every week. Podbean, Spotify, iTunes, Sports Show TV, at Sports Show Podcast. Amy, do it. At Sports Show Podcast.
I be locked in.